Hey everybody, I am Jacqui Duran, and today we are going to dive in to the brand new contacts tab on our workstation and how I am utilizing that to not only communicate with my team members, but also with my customers. You guys know that for me, email communication is a huge part of the way that I communicate with my customers and my team. But with my customers in particular, I really like to be able to have that communication. I have found with my personal customer base, with communication styles, I do have customers who do like to contact me on Facebook and they will message me on there. But just like with myself, right? Like I cannot keep up with all of the messages and notifications and everything else that is going on Facebook or another app, right? For so sorry. For me personally, for me personally, I have just found that being able to send something out has really allowed me to connect with my customers. And in a message, it's a little bit harder, right? You can't really, you don't want the message to be too long because what's going to happen? They're not going to read it. Okay. If you start putting too many links or pictures or things like that in, again, probably, I mean, you might get some that are going to read all the way through and click all the things, and that's beautiful. And that might work for them personally. But as a whole, right, I want to make sure that I'm getting out the most information I can to my customer base in a way that is going to make it easy for them to be able to read it, understand it, and get the information that I'm giving them. So I did text for quite a while. Texting for me, it was a back and forth really, because here's the thing. There's Project Broadcast, which I think is a great application. I love it. However, for me personally, it just doesn't work. I personally don't like the automation that comes with Project Broadcast. Um, it just doesn't come off authentic to me. And when I am looking to reach my customers, I want to be authentic. I want to be myself. And I don't want them to think that I'm sending like this mass thing out. I don't personally care for that. Again, for you and your business, that may work wonderfully. And if it does, then by all means, I always will encourage you, do what works for you, do what works for your customers, do what works for your business. So if that's what's working, then awesome. Don't change things up, right? If it's not broke, don't fix it. But if you are looking for something that you can maybe use to change up the way you're communicating, to maybe really get a good pulse on what your customers are wanting to see, what they're wanting to hear about, and what is really going on, then this might be something that is going to help you. With email communication, there are a lot of different ways that you can do emails. For quite a while, I stayed pretty basic. So in the first probably half of my Scentsy career, um, I honestly just I didn't have the extra money in my business budget to do like an email application, right? So I didn't use there's very many, right? But I didn't use an email client to be able to send out my emails. I honestly just used my personal email. I know it sounds simplistic, it might sound silly, but for me it worked for quite some time. And being able to send that out was something that it was a constant communication, right? It was that regular touch point with my customers. So what I would do is I would actually use Google Docs. I would go into Google Docs, which is free. I would go into Google Docs and I would write up and type up my email communication. Sometimes I would add some pictures in there. I would usually at least add a shopping link. But I really wanted it to look like a professional newsletter, right? I wanted it to capture attention. I wanted it to be fun. I wanted it to have my voice in it, so to speak, right? And so I really did use that. And so in Google Docs, I would just create that. I would play around with that. And then I would literally copy and then go into my Gmail, my personal email, go into Gmail, paste it, and then I would BCC everybody in my customer email list, right? So all of those customer contacts that I had, I would just export those from my workstation and copy those into an email for through Gmail. And that's how I would send out my email communication. For years, I did this, years. Then I wanted to really just change things up. So I did, as I was moving through my business, as my business started growing, then I was able to actually move up a little bit. And so then I started using Flowdesk. Flowdesk is an amazing app. I really, really enjoyed it. It gave me creative control. I was able to have some really fun elements in it. I was able to schedule things out. I'm a fan of Flowdesk. I just am. You can also set it up for workflows. So it helped me a lot too when it came to onboarding, right? So I could create a welcome email when someone new joined my team, and then I would literally schedule it out. It was usually like 1 to 2 weeks later, and then another email would drop. So I'd have to make all of these different emails, right? So they would work in the workflow. And then it was seamless, right? Once they were into that workflow, then it automatically would send out everything that I needed. And that was absolutely wonderful. Um, but I will say through probably the last 3 or 4 months in my business, you guys may have noticed a trend as you watch a lot of my trainings. I've really been trying to take things back to basics. And a lot of that had to do with taking a good, long, hard look at what I was actually using in my business budget, right? So what were the apps that I was paying for that maybe I could do away with, or maybe it was time to upgrade, or maybe they just weren't really giving me the results that I wanted. Now, my email communication is non-negotiable in my business. For myself, for my customers, it works. Every time that the email communications go out, I will at least get a couple of orders after those communications come out. So not only do I know it's working in that respect, but I can also track the analytics of that, right? And see exactly how many people are opening the email, how many people are clicking within the email. And I was able to do that through Flowdesk, and that was wonderful. But again, taking things back to basics. I really needed to see, how can I simplify the things that I'm doing in my business? How can I pull back the reins a little bit and just really make things easier? Now, maybe Scentsy was listening too, because they did a fantastic update to our contacts tab in our workstation. So, as I was looking for ways to simplify my business, Scentsy was helping me with ways to simplify my business without having to pay for a program, pay for an application. And I was able to say, okay, I'm finally going to do this. And I think it was last month or the month before, I finally did it. I canceled my Flowdesk subscription. I was so nervous because I had been using it for so long and I really did love it. But again, sometimes you got to just change things up. Sometimes you got to go back to basics. Sometimes you just have to pivot a little bit in your business. And so I did it. I got away from Flowdesk and I started using the contacts tab and the workstation. Wonderful. Absolutely loved it. The first time that I used it, I literally I went back to my Google Doc days and I just typed up my email, sent that out to my customers. It was fabulous. Okay, wonderful. But how can I make this a little bit more personalized? How can I actually sit there and make this more aesthetically pleasing? Well, let Canva come to the rescue. Now, Canva for my business is truly a non-negotiable. When I was looking at all of the things that I was paying for in my business, I do have the Canva Pro subscription, but the Canva free version works just as well, okay? Canva is a wonderful tool for so many different things. I use Canva to make stickers. I use Canva for email signatures. I use Canva to create flyers, rack cards, things like that, that I can print out at home, that I can mail out, postcards, all of these different things. Scrolling parties. There's just so much that I do with Canva. And when I was looking and really trying to figure out, okay, how can I make things look a little prettier? Hey, why don't I try a Canva template? And why don't I see what I can create in the world of Canva and still make it look like a newsletter and get that out to my customers? And so I did. Now, let me tell you, this has been something that took me a minute to really dive into and figure out what I wanted my style to look like. But once I have done it, I am so incredibly happy with the results. So I wanted to share that with you guys today. How can we use the contacts tab to email our customers? Today, we're going to focus on customers. But again, I also use this for my team communication as well. You can too. But the contacts tab with its updates, absolutely wonderful, totally bringing things back to basics and allowed me to cut out a subscription from my monthly budget. So let's go ahead and let's dive in and let's see what we're actually doing. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to share my screen and we're going to take a look at what I've been doing. All right. I'm going to go ahead and just share my entire screen. Now, let's go ahead real quick. Oh, let me get rid of this. Let's go ahead and I'm going to pull up. All right. I believe I've got this already up. All right. So on your workstation, obviously you've got all of your tabs. So if you go to contacts and hover over it, you can see you've got a way to really manage your contacts. We do have our communications homepage, which is still in beta, but it's coming. Don't worry. They're still making improvements to this. Okay. But emails, create email, newsletter, and analytics. So when we are on email to create email, that's where we are now. You can see I've got two options, right? I can do a marketing email. Marketing emails drive sales and engage customers measured by open rates, click rates, conversion rates, and PRV. Look at those analytics. That means every single email that I send out to my customers, it is going to tell me how many people opened the email. It's going to tell me how many people clicked in the email, the conversion rates, right? So that is how they're receiving it. And did I get any PRV from that email? Oh, oh my gosh, full circle moment. Okay. Also, you have on here, the second option is communication email. This is communication emails inform and manage relationships with customers and team members rather than directly drive sales. So when I am looking on more of a team email approach, I am using communication email. Marketing emails, I still want it, that's my ability to really get creative, right? So when you're thinking of marketing, think of creativity. That's when you want to be creative. That's when you want to see what's working for you. And that is one thing in our business, right? Where if you have the opportunity to see these analytics, to see the results of what you're doing, to see if they're actually things that are working for you, these are the kinds of things that you want to be looking at because we want to know. I mean, again, just like we talk about with samples, right? I can sit here and for 8 hours, I can spend time making samples, creating fun postcards or rack cards and all of these things, getting them all together and then sending them out. But if I never follow up on samples that go out, then I have no idea. For one, do my customers even care? Did they get it? Are they enjoying it? Do they like it? Right? We have to follow up. We have to take that secondary action after the initial action, right? Of sending out the sample or sending an email. We need to know what is working to be able to know, is that time really serving me well? Is it actually helping my business, or am I wasting my time? And while it may sound, oh my gosh, well, Jacqui, I mean, making samples or doing mail outs and things like that, those can definitely help your business. Well, yeah, they can. But if I can't prove they can, then I don't know they can. Okay. So I have to take that secondary action. So today we're going to focus on customer email. So I'm going to go ahead and click on marketing email. Now in here, this is where you can, on the contacts tab, right? When we are on that contacts tab, this is where I can create tags for the people who are already listed in my email contacts, right? So I have some tags that are already set up, and you can set yours to whatever kind of works for you, what stands out for you and your customers. But you can just simply do, oops, sorry, let me go to the plus sign, and I can just click on customer, and I can go ahead and just very easily send this out to my customers. So if I hit close there, now I see it's going out to 334 that I have tagged as my customer people, right? So in my contacts, I've gone through and I have tagged them. Now I can create a subject. Okay. All right. So this is actually what I sent out last time. September news, you need to know. No, it was, it's none of those. So I'm just gonna say what's happening. Now, the fun thing that I like to do as well, I like to go ahead and I like to add in little emojis, things like that. It breaks up emails, right? So if you are personally looking through your own emails, you want that subject line to stand out, right? You want them to be intrigued when they are looking at emails, right? You don't want them to just continue to scroll by or delete it off. So when you are looking for how do I capture attention, you can use, a little bit of creativity here, have a little bit of fun, do a play on words, depending on what you are marketing out. Now, one of the things, again, that is more of a non-negotiable for me and my business is just a monthly newsletter. I want my customers knowing what is going on for the entire month. And then throughout the month, I will send at least one more, maybe two. I don't like to overwhelm customers, but with LTOs, with collections launching, all of that stuff, right? I want to keep them in the loop. But a really great way that you can hone in on that subject line and really get very creative is, of course, you can use AI. AI is quickly becoming our friend and is quickly becoming the wave of the future. If you guys are anything like me, I watched the Apple launch yesterday, and Apple Intelligence is going to be a huge forefront when it comes to just interacting and doing things just on our phones. But let me tell you that AI is truly starting to help us run the world, right? And run the world, I mean that in a silly manner, right? But using things like Chat GPT to come up with a really catchy subject title, right? So you can pull up Chat GPT, you can say, give me a catchy email subject to send to my customers about September or about fall scents or something like that, right? And you can then kind of run with that and you can start to customize it. You can have a little bit of fun, type in there, make it funny. You can say, make it sound like a joke, make it engaging, right? Whatever. Um, really hone in on that. And then you're going to be able to come up with some really great ideas on how to dress up your subject line. Now, I told you guys that one of the ways that I really like to communicate, because I am very visual and I want my customers to be engaged and excited about the email that they're opening up, is I wanted it to look like a professional newsletter. So you might be wondering, how in the world are you doing that, Jacqui, within this contacts tab, right? Because I don't really see a whole lot of editing tools. Now, of course, we do have bold, we've got our fonts, right? We can do our type sizes. We can do colors, we can insert images, we can go over here, we can create tables, headers, bulleted points, all of the things, right? But pretty standard, not a whole lot of customization going on. However, if we go into Canva, we can get very, very creative. So let me go ahead and pull up what I used for my email. All right, so this here is the email that I actually sent out to my customers. So I'm just going to blow it up a little bit here so we can see it a little bit better. So this was the newsletter that I sent out for September. I really kind of took this template. I think it was actually, I think it was shared in one of the groups, and I'd love to give credit to who did this. I honestly cannot remember who initially created that. So if you're out there and if you're watching, thank you for giving me a jumping off point. So I use this as a jumping off point to really narrow in and keep the theme of, for me, for September with our warmer of the month and all of the things, right? I just wanted to have a nice vibe. So I took this and I wanted to just kind of pop things out to my customers, right? I wanted them to see things. I wanted them to feel like they were really getting a true marketing newsletter, right? So making it fun. So thank you for being a part of my Scented Boo Crew. Boo Crew, obviously a play on our warmer of the month, right? The Boo Crew. So I've got a picture of the warmer of the month in there. I also have added in the new Scentsy Air because, of course, it's a brand new product. I want my customers to know about this. I added also in the description of the scent of the month in there. Then you'll see that I've got the new scent. So I just took a graphic with all of the new scents listed, threw that in there. Of course, the new Scentsy Go, it's another fabulous product that I want all of my customers to know about. Obviously, in a one-to-one communication, you can do personal specials, and an email is a one-to-one communication, right? So this is why this was just my personal special. Okay, this is nothing Scentsy is doing. This is nothing you have to do, but it was something I wanted to offer out to my customers. And it's something that I wanted to just mix things up, have a little bit of fun. And then, of course, you always want to make sure that your face is on there, your name is on there, your contact information is on there, right? Because just because they may be getting your newsletter, or maybe you think they already know who you are, it's just good to reiterate that. Again, they want to be able to put a face to a name and then attach you to Scentsy. So then I created a second page, right? Because I didn't just want a one page to go out. So I threw in some images from the Harvest collection. I like my little ghosties. I'm in my ghosty era right now. So I threw those in. Of course, I'm still reminding them of my shopping link. So of course, I've got that in there. I really wanted to focus in on the Harvest collection. Why? Because their while supplies last, and because there's some really amazing products in there. And then what I did is I went ahead and put in the actual, I use Bitly for how I send out my links and shorten those up, but Bitly. And so I just created that, and that actually takes them directly to the flippable Harvest collection brochure. And then, of course, I wanted to remind them again, brand new catalog, right? So all of that is there. Now, I could keep on going, keep on adding, but I figured two was probably enough. So what I did is then I came back to my contacts and my email, and in Canva. So once I had that done, then in Canva, all I did was hit share. I downloaded it as a PNG, so as an image, right? So like a picture, and downloaded that to my computer. Then I can come over here to my contacts tab, and then I can just go to upload an image from my computer. So I'm going to click on that. Now, of course, that was 2 pages, right? So here's the first page, and I'm going to hit open. You'll see it literally puts that image right in there. Ah, so beautiful. If you hit this little blue arrow here, that's going to message or line down in that. Okay, so now I've got my next line. So if I just go back up, I want to insert the second image, right? Because I have 2 pages. So I would just go in, I'm selecting the second one, opening that. Oh, where'd my cursor go? Then you'll see there we are again. So now it just flows in there. It's really, really great. Now I want to be able to add a clickable link into this, right? Because this is here and yes, it's just a picture. So even though I put it in Canva and it's a clickable link in Canva, because I saved it as a PNG or as a picture, they're not able to click on that link. Now, they can look at that. They can go in there and, copy and paste and do all of that, but I still want to make it as easy as I can for my customers and kind of take the guesswork out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and say, shop the Harvest Collection today. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to, I could copy and paste it, but I don't have it pasted at the moment. So we're just going to do this. All right, so there is my link. And you'll see as soon as I hit enter, it automatically is giving it a hyperlink. It recognizes it as a clickable link or a hyperlink. So now what I want to do is I want to make that bold. I want to bring that to the center. And let's just see what we're looking at here. How does that look? See, it still looks a little bit small. So I want to go ahead and I want to make that just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go over here. Where's my font size? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just make it big and then scroll down so I can take a look at it again. There we go. All right. So there we are. Now I could go ahead and just send this out, but I don't want to resend this. This is the exact same thing I've already sent out. So now I'm actually done. So if I wanted to continue on, if I wanted to add some more things in there, if I wanted to put in a little note, again, I can continue typing. I can add in another graphic, another image, whatever I want to do. I can really have some fun with it. But essentially, I am done. And all I have to do now is hit send email. And boom, it's automatically going to go out to all of those people in that email list. Let's go back to the contacts tab and let's go to analytics. I'm going to click on view emails and you can see this is where the analytics are coming in. So this was sent to, so this was a marketing. So that was my, this is very easily, this is the one that I just created, right? So you'll see this email has not been sent. I know. But this one here, so this one went out to 276 people. It delivered to 257. So that means maybe some of the emails bounced. I don't know, right? So it just kind of depends. Undelivered, there were 20. Again, those were the ones that kind of bounced out. So maybe the email address was wrong. Maybe they've changed their email address, whatever. I don't know. But those 20 did not make it. So out of the 257 that were delivered, I know 129 of those people opened it, and 5 of those people clicked on the link in there. Okay. So I can go ahead and I can view the email from here. So you'll see this is what it looked like when it went out. I love the fact that it just looks so professional. And of course, I didn't add this in, but Scentsy automatically does, right? And puts this little blurb, you are receiving this email from an independent Scentsy consultant. So again, it looks very professional. It looks very polished. It just looks nice, okay? It just looks nice. So that's what you are able to do there is actually see it as it went out. I'm really hoping this doesn't show any information. Oh, shoot. Okay. So actually what you could do there is you can then go in and you can actually go into the analytics. You can see who clicked on what. So every single one of these you see is a hyperlink, right? So you could go in there and actually click to see which ones were sent, which ones were delivered, which ones were undelivered, right? And I can actually go in there literally and look at every single data point that it's giving me. This is a fantastic tool. So this takes the ability to go from Flowdesk, right? Or MailChimp or whatever any of those email programs are, and it brings it back into our world. It brings us back into the basics. It brings us back to our workstation, working with what we already have. Now, remember I said I personally use the Canva Pro option, but you can use the Canva free version and do exactly what I did there. Okay. Obviously, some of the graphics may or may not be available, but for the most part, you are able to freely create anything you want for free in Canva, okay? Save it to your device. You can do this if you are just working from your mobile, then by all means, you can do all of this from your phone, okay? It doesn't have to be on a computer. It doesn't have to be on a laptop. Everything can be done here. Now, I will say it is a little bit harder specifically for myself because my eyesight isn't that wonderful, but so working on Canva on here is great for smaller, easier projects. But when I'm really doing a newsletter, I will tell you, I am on my computer, I'm on the iPad, I am on the MacBook, right? I'm doing it there because it's just bigger. It makes it easier for me. But you can, of course, use the Canva app and you can do all of that from your phone and then do just what we did, right? Then log into your workstation, go to your contacts tab, and then you're able to just put all of that in just like you saw how we did it. Okay. Now, I hope that this has inspired you. I want to hear what you guys think about this concept. Are you loving this? Is this something that you even knew we could do? Is this something that you are going to try out in your business? I want to also challenge you. I want to challenge you to start using your workstation. I want you to use the tools that Scentsy is already giving us, tools that we don't have to pay extra for. We don't have to sit here and spend our commission money on a lot of these things that Scentsy is creating for us, right? Another great thing that we also have now is the Scentsy Connect app, right? So it gives us a way to follow up, have that communication. These are ways that we're able to bring our business back to basics and really make things just a lot easier for ourselves. But still, make it look professional, make it look fun, make it look polished, give it whatever vibe or aesthetic or your branding that you do, you're able to do all of that with this tool. All right, guys, tune in next week. We're going to have more fun things of how we are bringing our business back to basics. And I can't wait to see you, but don't forget to drop your ideas below and let me know if you've used this, how you're using it, or if you plan to, because I want to know. Bye.